My countdown of the top 50 games in my collection. This is one of the older games and one of the ones that got me into the modern board game. Um, it is called Carcassonne Hunters and Gatherers. There's another Carcassonne which is set in medieval times. This one is set in the hunter-gatherer era, and I like this one a little better. The base Carcassonne was the first one that came out, and there's a ton of expansions for that. And that widely is considered the better version by the game community. But I like this one better because it's simple. Everything's in one box. You don't need all the expansions to bling it out. A little bit about the game. It plays 2 to 5 players. I think it's best with 2 or 3. It's a simple little tile placement game. That's the mechanic that I want to talk about for this one. Takes about an hour to play. Maybe a little longer with 4 or 5 players, maybe a little less with only 2. Difficulty, I would say probably a 3, maybe a high 2 out of 5. Age 10 and up. So during your turn, let me get back. You are trying to be the most successful tribe. Gathering and hunting. So you get victory points for what you do during your turn throughout the game, and at the end of the game there's some bonus points. So during your turn there's these stacks of tiles, and you will draw one tile and you will place it on the somewhere that connects to the map that's already out there. So you have to connect forest to forest, or, and it doesn't have to be right, or grassland to grassland, or if I drew a river, there we go, or connect the river to the river, like that. Like, and it's not in the screen, sorry. Like that. So you have to go back here. So you have to connect forest to forest, like that. Like that, or grassland to grassland, like that. And then once you've placed your tile, you decide: do I want to put a worker down, one of your people down? So there's 3 different ways to use them. You can use them as fishermen, so you place them on the river, and that means they're fishing the river. And you will score points for the number of fish when the river completes, and it completes by coming to an end like that. So then you would get 1 for each section of the river and 1 for each fish. So you'd get 1, 2, 3 for the length of the river, and 1 because there's a trout in that pond. The next way you can, I'm going to throw some pieces out here on the board to help explain. I don't know if you guys can see that well. There we go. 8 right there. Get on there. The next way are, you have these little meeples, and you can use them in 2 ways. One, they can be gatherers in the forest, and you would put them upright on a section of the forest, and when the forest completes, like this section in the middle, if I had somebody there, the forest completes and they would score points on the forest. Actually forest I think is 2. Again, it's 2 per section, if I recall right. So 2, 4, 6 points, and you get that worker back. And there's another thing with, if there's a gold nugget in the forest, then you would immediately draw one of the special tiles and play that. The second way you can use your meeples is you lay them down in the field, and that makes them hunters, and they stay there till the end of the game. And then at the end of the game, you're going to count up all of the wildlife, all of the animals that are in that area, that you don't have to cross a river for. So right now this guy has, I think the mammoths are 2 and 3 points for the elk. So that'd be 3 points at the end of the game. But the hunter's territory can get kind of big. Actually, see, I misscored. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then following the river 4, 5. There's 5 connected. Now, one way you can interact is with the other players is there are tigers, saber-toothed tigers that are on. So instead of that one, say I put this one down. Nope, the tiger's on the wrong side of the river. Could do, nope, because there's a forest there. So anyway, there are tiger tiles you can place, and the tiger essentially eats one of the animals. It counts as negative points, but they won't eat the mammoth. So that's one way to slow down you got somebody that's got a hunter out in a territory. You can throw a hunter. You can't put a hunter down in the same territory, but if it's in an area that is not yet connected, and then it connects, then you're going to split the points. If that makes sense. But like I said, you can put tigers down to slow down somebody that's got a big area. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. You play until the tiles are gone, so it's quite a few tiles, and then you score points. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in this one. Like playing this one with my wife. She is not a big gamer, but this is one that she enjoys. Not too thinky, very cash. Oh, I didn't talk about the huts. You have 2 huts that you can place on that score at the end of the game, and you place them on a lake, any one of the lakes with the fish, and then you score points for how long the path is with the rivers. Yep, this is Carcassonne Hunters and Gatherers, my number 35. Stay tuned for 34 for the kids.